back to Father Son DIY Garage. Our 50-gallon water heater finally sprung a leak, and we replaced it with this. That's right, we're going tankless.
In this video, we're going to show you guys how we installed this tankless start to finish, and we're going to show you guys how much time it took and how much it cost. Stay tuned. Now we have our piece of 3/4 inch backing for the tankless water heater to sit on. And we're going to screw this into the studs right now. We're going to put our lags in the corners here because we know there's a stud.
Now we're going to measure from the top of this bracket to the bottom of this bracket here to get our measurement, which is about 3 and what?
About 4.
Almost 4 inches there. So we know where to place this on the wall. Now we're going to put our bracket 4 inches down from the top of the plywood. We're going to try to get the center here first. It's 28 and a half. So we're going to go 14 and a quarter. That's right there. And then go down 4 and, what'd you say, 3/8, right?
Yep.
Go 4 and 3/8. 1. All right, here comes Joe with the package. Yeah,
Well, I don't need your help.
No, you got this.
All right. No, I need help. Come on. All right. There you go.
Yes. I'm not sure how this is gonna work. Can he do it, folks? Nice.
All right, now it's time to put our water heater valves on. These come separate from the tank, so just keep that in mind if you're going to be doing this project. And they're going to go right up here. Went ahead and put some Teflon tape on those threaded connections. Then put some pipe dope to seal it up. And it's really important that you buy these tankless water heater valves because they have some drain ports for when you're flushing out your tankless. And they have some unions, which make taking these apart real easy. Now we're going to solder some 3/4 inch MIPs onto some copper pipe. Once those male adapters were soldered on, went ahead and put some Teflon on, some pipe dope, and threaded those into our valves. Now we're going to put our valves on. Put our temperature and pressure relief valve in our hot side. With the valves installed, it's time to work on the water lines. We're plumbing these lines out of 3/4 inch Type L copper. First we had to unsweat those 3/4 inch male threaded adapters that used to hook up our old 50-gallon water heater. Then we went ahead and started cutting some pipe up, soldering on some fittings. And since the connections for the tankless are on the bottom, we're going to be 90ing over and down to connect the water.
Now that the water's connected, the next step is to run the condensate line. We're going to show you how to do that right now.
Tankless water heaters are made to be highly efficient, so they have a secondary heat exchanger that will pull heat out of the exhaust, and in doing so, this creates condensation. And we have a little 1/2 inch threaded connection here to drain that condensation out. Went ahead and put a PVC coupling with one threaded end. Put some Christie's Red Hot on there. Put a Street 90 into that coupling. Then we took a piece of pipe and another 90 over towards the wall. We're going to be installing what's called a condensate neutralizer. So the condensate that comes out of your tankless water heater is pretty acidic, and it can start to cause color changes and corrode things when it drains. So this has a bunch of minerals inside it that's going to neutralize all that acidity in the water and make it safe for it to come out. So we're going to show you how we connect our PVC pipes to the end of these. So we're going to thread that in with some Teflon. I like to kind of hand tight it first. Put it in there hand tight.
All right, our plan is to mount this right here on the base of the old water heater landing.
And then we're going to go ahead and connect that 90 to our drain. Went ahead and drilled a hole next to our temperature and pressure relief pipe. That way these can drain right here on the side of the house, right next to each other. Too much. Then it was time to run the temperature and pressure relief line. This is a safety feature on all water heaters. And this one's connected here on the hot side. And what this does is if there's any overpressurization, any overheating, it's going to go ahead and open up and release all that extra water and save your system. Then it was time to go into our venting for the tankless, also known as our intake and our exhaust. And since we can't use our original vent for our tanked water heater, we're going ahead and drilling out 2 holes, one for intake and one for exhaust. Now we're going to put on a masonry hole saw. This is good for stucco, brick, concrete block, all that stuff. Just snaps right in. I'll give you guys a link for this set in the description below. Then we're going to put our hole saw arbor into our little pilot hole. And the cool thing about these tankless water heaters is you can do the intake and exhaust in PVC. Because of the high efficiency of the unit, the exhaust doesn't come out super hot. And because of the acidity of the exhaust, you can't use any metal pipes, which are typically installed on your tanked water heaters in your home. So for the pipe on the left, which is the intake for the unit, I'm putting a 90 looking down so I can pull all that clean air in from the bottom. And then for the exhaust, I'm looking a 90 straight up. Putting a 90 to the left, pointed over the roof line so I can get rid of all those exhaust gases above the roof of the house. And here I'm cutting out some wire mesh that's going to act as a bug screen slash rodent screen. That way nothing crawls into our tankless unit and clogs it up. Alright, then you just kind of push it in there. And it'll tension itself to the inside of the fitting. Bam. So this tankless water heater came with a 3/4 inch gas hookup. So we're going ahead and putting some Teflon tape and some pipe dope for those threads. Then we're putting on a 3/4 inch tee. And we're going to be making what's called a sediment trap. So on the bottom you get a 6-inch nipple. And then below that 6-inch nipple is going to be a cap. So any debris that gets in the gas line over time should hopefully fall right into this trap and not cause anything to clog up. So this is why we're upgrading our gas line. You see how much of a difference in flow that's going to give us. Hooking up that new 7/8 gas line to the tankless. Alright, now it's time to install our expansion tank. So this is going to protect our water heater from thermal expansion, from water hammering and all that stuff. And it's a local code, so we're going to put this up right about here, and we're going to tie in our cold water to it. Once we had the tank all strapped in, we went ahead and cut in a 3/4 inch tee off our cold water line. And we would have done this in the first place, but that tank is big and it kind of gets in the way. So we figured we'd save this for one of the last things we do. Put some Teflon tape and some dope on those threads. Tightened in our female adapter with a 90. Then we connected it all together, and now it's time to solder up all the fittings. Alright, you guys, another successful project completed.
And I could finally take a well-deserved hot shower.
This project took about a day to complete with installing the tankless, well, taking the old water heater down, installing the tankless, and running the new gas line from the meter to the water heater platform.
Hey, we saved a ton of money on this, but for those of you that want to know how much it costs, let's break it down, Joe.
Alright.
The water heater itself is about $13.50 after tax. And we're eligible for a rebate in our state, so check with your state and local utilities to see if you can save even more money.
To run the water lines with the copper and fittings, about $150.
These two valves don't come with the water heater, so those were an additional cost of about $90 total.
For the condensate line and the neutralizer, $110.
Our intake and exhaust was about $80.
For the expansion tank and bracket, $60. To upsize our gas line from 1/2 inch to 3/4, costs about $300-400 from the meter to the water heater platform. All right, you guys, project total $2,500.
Hey, a typical install for a tankless water heater in our area is about 5 to 10 grand. So Joe, we saved a boatload of money.
That's right. Doing all the work ourselves, we saved a boatload of money. But you have to understand, when the plumber comes to your house, he's charging for his time, his knowledge, for the material, for his truck, and all that. So
only a plumber would know.
Anyways, we hope you guys learned something today, and hopefully you can tackle this project yourself.
Cheers.